All right, you guys, what is up? We're back and we're live. Welcome back to our weekly live feed. As you're logging on, if you'd like to come work with me, Sean's Couture Cuties is where you gotta go. Sean'sCoutureCuties.com. Or if you're on with us on YouTube and Facebook, Cutie Boutique, right here, that QR code. We are putting everything up into the Cutie Boutique as far as hair, makeup, suits, posing, everything that you possibly need. It's all right here in that Cutie Boutique. So you can click on that QR code. What's up, guys? What's up? Yeah, say hi when you log on. If you are logging on Instagram, it will be a better experience over on YouTube or Facebook. We'll have screen sharing, all of that. Welcome, you guys. Welcome. Yeah, say hi when you jump in, jump on. What's up? Welcome. We always give it a few minutes for everybody to get logged on before we get into it. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Yeah, right? Someone's looking lean. I know. Every time I go on these lives now, it's like, because I only do this once a week now. So when I go on live, I'm like, oh my gosh, my face. I'm like, hi, cheekbones. Oh my goodness gracious. Lord. Yeah, we're getting there. We're getting there. Got another 5 or 6 pounds to go. Oh, that final stretch, And I just finished up cardio. So if you guys were here, you'd smell me. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, my goodness. So tonight, guys, we are going to go through wrapping up the Hurricane Pro. We are also going to preview Clash. I didn't put that onto my my little banner. I should have. We're going to preview Clash tonight because this week, we're going to preview the Olympia. So, we're going to give it another minute or so, but then I'm going to go into that a little bit. If you are coming to Cuties Conquering the Stage, awesome. You got your early bird ticket. Our early bird tickets are sold out. So currently, if you like to go, you can click on the link still, but that's going to take you to the waiting list. All right. So you can still get onto the waiting list, but we are sold out. So yay. Cuties Conquering the Stage 2024. I'm getting there, you guys. The funny part about it is I don't feel like I'm in my last month of prep. I feel pretty good. But yeah, every day I wake up and I'm like, holy Jesus, I'm getting leaner every day. It's freaking crazy. It's cool. It's cool to watch. We did our recording of Behind the Bikini today, so that'll come out tomorrow. So we talked about that a lot. So I'm not going to go into a whole lot of that tonight because we did talk about that whole thing on the podcast today. So I'm going to edit that this evening. And it will launch tomorrow, so you can watch that for your cardio theater and all of that too. All right, so now that we're all here, so this week is going to be a fun one, okay? So we're going to do a build up into the Olympia. I was going to do this pre-recorded for the predictions and stuff like that for the Olympia, but I honestly just got busy, and just it is what it is. That's what happened. So I was thinking we will do wellness predictions tomorrow live, same time, same place, 8:15. And then Thursday we'll do bikini predictions live, same time, same place. Okay, 8:15 right here. In the meantime, Devin, you're here. I know you sent me a couple of DMs in regard to a few girls to be paying attention to. So if you have somebody that you'd like me to pay attention to and take a look at that's on the Olympia list for either wellness or bikini, go ahead and type it in. Now make sure that you tell me which one they're in. I'm probably going to know who they are, you know what I mean? But at the same time, if it's a name that I'm not familiar with or something, just let me know that they're in wellness or they're in bikini. So we've got a lot of European competitors this year, that kind of thing, coming in, people coming in from Brazil and all that kind of stuff too. So if there's anybody that you want me to pay attention to and look up, please do that. I am going to do kind of put that together tomorrow for you and show you who I think is going to be in your top 10, who's going to be placing, that kind of thing. Top 5, all of that for both divisions, for both wellness and bikini. So wellness will be tomorrow, and bikini will be Thursday. And we'll do it live so that way you guys can kind of put your 2 cents in as well. While we're live, if there's something that you have questions about or somebody that you wanted to see, we'll pull them up. We'll do all of that with you guys. Okay. So get ready to be very interactive over the next couple of days. And we'll have some fun with it. So I think it'll be a lot more fun that way versus me sitting down and doing a pre-recorded video and kind of talking at you. Let's do it together. Let's do it together. Because I kind of was waiting on the list for Clash to come out to see if that was gonna change anything for me for wellness, and it's really not. So, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about that particular show, and then we'll go into again kind of wrapping up this past weekend and all of that. So let's talk about the Clash this coming weekend first. That's first and foremost. Let me share that list. Hold on. Well, it's going to pop up for me. Of course, my computer is not popping up. There we go. It's taking a minute. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it is a small list. I thought maybe we would see some people jumping in on this. Where is the Clash being located? It's in Orlando. Clash is in Orlando. So I really thought we would see more wellness Olympians on this list. People that would be warming up for the Olympia, trying to get some feedback, that kind of thing. But we really kind of don't. I pulled up a few names to be looking at, and most of the girls on this list haven't really done a whole lot, or they're brand new pros or whatever, that kind of thing. So first name on the list that I pulled up is Lily Dong. So obviously for me, she's the person that should win this show. Like on paper, she should win this. She hasn't been on stage in a little bit. She competed quite a bit this year. She did qualify in June by winning that show. She is on the smaller side of competitors for wellness, which I like. I like her look. This is the direction that I hope that wellness will continue to go. So I would like to see her win this show. With that said, like there's a lot of names on this list. I looked them up and they are relatively new pros. They are a little bit on the smaller side. So this would be a good opportunity for the judges to kind of make a statement here as far as what the standard for wellness should be this coming year. No freaking clue how this will go. I know 6 girls off the top and not well. Yeah, I just like some of them are brand new. Some of them are pro debuts. I did pull up Corey. So this is Corey Hassler. This was the last time she was on stage, which was 2018 in Bikini. Corey is one of our Pro Performer Promise winners, but she won her pro card in Bikini. This was Bikini 2018. These pictures are horrendous, but anyway, this was her last show that she was on stage in. That's decent. You can see even back then in 2018, she had a bigger structure for Bikini. Like you can see her quad development, things like that here. She's put on quite a bit of size. She was fighting with me for a while. She wanted to go to figure. She's just not built for figure. She's built for wellness. She's built for wellness. I still think coming into this show, she's going to be a little bit on the small side, but that might play well for her here. I mean, based on the girls that I'm seeing in this lineup, that could be a good thing for her. So we'll see where she's at for the show. This is the first time she'll be on stage in 5.5 years. So, in a completely different division. So she's just excited to get back on stage, really. So I'm excited to see what she looks like going in. And then I pulled up Christina because she did just win Fit Parade just a couple weeks ago. Yeah, the 15th. She just won this. I am not familiar with her. Again, European competitor. Pull up a shot here. From what I saw, I'm not a fan of her posing. From the pictures that they have on here, I'm not a huge fan of her posing. But again, she doesn't look like she's overly muscular. She doesn't look like she's huge. She doesn't look like she's overly conditioned or anything like that. So she could very well, again, be towards the top of this lineup here too. I'm just not like her posing is really, really bad. Like That's really bad. Guys, it's really bad posing. It's a really bad back pose. So I don't know. Hopefully she got some feedback in the last show not to do that. I don't know what she's doing here. Alejandra has good shape. Yeah, I looked her up too, and I just didn't pull her up as one of the ones to be paying attention to because I just there wasn't anything that really wowed me about her. But I did look her up. She hasn't been on stage in over a year, I think, at this point. But yeah, this is a bad back pose, guys. Don't do that. So we'll see what she does. She's got, again, a relatively smaller frame, as do all of the girls in this show. So this could be a good thing for this particular show. And then we have Edna, Adina, who has done decent this year. A few top finishes, top four, that kind of thing. To me, she's just a little off with her presentation, a little off in general with her conditioning and things like that. I think she's a little over the top when it comes to the conditioning, needs to be a little bit fuller, that kind of thing. Wasn't a huge fan of her look. Not terrible, but just needs a few tweaks and things like that. She will be I think the outlier here, in my opinion, just based on the other looks being a little bit fuller and rounder. But I mean, I could be wrong. We could see it's been a while since she's been on stage, so she could look quite a bit different now versus what she looked like the last time she was on stage. So, I mean, we'll see. And she did take fourth in New York, so it's not like she was way off by any stretch of the imagination. Where's she at? Let's see. And Lily just barely beat her. So here in New York, this was her look in New York. I was looking for the same pose. It's right at the top of the key there. Well, kind of, sort of. No. I did like her look in New York better than the Miami show, but I think a lot of that was just due to the lighting. Yeah, we're not really seeing any decent poses here, I guess. Oops. Again, I just think that she's okay. She's not bad. I just don't think she's going to win this show. She might be second. She could be second. I think that Lily's going to win it. But we'll see. Okay. So that's our show this weekend. Again, I really thought that we would see some more names from the Wellness Olympia in this lineup that are coming in to get some feedback or at least do a warm-up show or something like that, and we got nothing. So it's not really going to affect my decision as far as the predictions are concerned, So that's that show. Okay, so the next thing I wanted to talk about, let's get rid of these, is I just wanted to mention that there was also this Kim Jong Classic Pro. Not sure exactly where that was, but Wu Bai did win that. So if you remember, we talked about Wu Bai a couple of times. She took second in Tahoe to Jordan. She's one of those ones. I'm not going to really review the show because you can see we've only got a couple of pictures here and they're not good pictures. But she was one that just needed some posing help and she just needed some conditioning work. But she did win this show, so she is going to be qualified for next year. The show also that happened, was it Poland, whatever it was this weekend. Valeria did win that as well, so she was the second one to win, or second show to win. So we did have 3 girls qualify for the Olympia this past weekend in bikini. Across the world, but there's no pictures of Val yet, of that show in general. There's no pictures, so I can't show that show. But I did want to give a shout out here to Wu. And again, I don't want to critique anything because we don't have any pictures really to critique. We got no back shots, so it is what it is. But again, wanted to give at least a shout out there. So let's go into Hurricane. So this was the talk of the weekend. It was 5 Olympians deep, that kind of thing, so it was a show to be watching. How many of you guys actually watched it? Now, I did purchase the live stream, but I kept getting an error message, so I wasn't able to watch it. So actually, as soon as bikini prejudging was over, Jamie, my coach, was there and she sent me a few videos and stuff. So I was able to watch it, and I did have Jordan in first. There was a few shockers of the show, and the first one being that Phoebe was in sixth. When we previewed this show, we thought Phoebe could be in the hunt for the win here. So to see her in sixth place in this show, when the last time she was on stage was sixth place at the Olympia, that was a little surprising, a little shocking. So what went wrong? What went wrong here? There's a few things that I think went wrong. I think that she did put on some significant size, which I think is something that she was told she needed to do from the Olympia. She needed to be fuller, she needed to be rounder, all of those kinds of things. So she did put on some size. You can definitely see that in her upper body here. She's got a lot more size in her upper body than she had last year, which that I believe is a plus for her. She's a tall girl. Again, she looks very muscular here, but because she is so long and she is so tall, she needs that muscle. Where I feel like she fell short was in her lower body. In a lot of different ways. Now, also, I'm going to say this too. I am not a fan of this suit top on her. It makes her look really flat on top. She needs some padding or something up there just to fill that out, because when she's standing next to the other girls, it just looks really, really flat. So I don't know if it's just a padding thing or what, but I'm just not a fan of the top. Might be too small on her. I'm not really sure. But her lower half of her body was just not in shape. It was just not conditioned. She needs to drop another, I don't know, couple pounds kind of thing. Maybe up to five, because she's a tall girl. You know, again, we go back to myself and those of us that are over the height of 5'8". We can carry a lot more size, and we can also drop weight really fast too. So can she do that in a matter of 2 weeks for the Olympia? Absolutely. This is definitely something she can fix as far as the conditioning is concerned. I would like to see a few posing changes, but this really kind of threw her physique off at this show because she just was not tight enough. The other thing that I think like her posing was a little bit wonky too. Like, I'm not a huge fan. She's pulling back quite a bit here, and it's causing skin folds. You can't see it a lot in this particular shot, but there's skin folds here. And I saw those in other photos and things like that. And it's because of how far she's pulling back on her upper body. She needs to stand up a little taller here. To me, it looks like she's trying to overcompensate, make her upper body look a little bit bigger to balance her lower body. But that's creating issues with the skin folds here in the back. So she needs to kind of stand up a little straighter, a little taller here. Now, one thing that I haven't seen anybody talk about that I can't stop looking at personally. Let me see if it's a better picture on the second page. I think it might be. Is this back shot. So somebody tell me, and in the comments, before I say anything, somebody tell me what I'm going to talk about here in the back. If you guys watch my lives, then you know what I'm going to say here. Somebody tell me what I'm going to talk about with her back pose. I'm going to give it a minute because I know you guys are a little bit on a delay for the live and all that stuff. Somebody tell me what I'm going to say here. I'm going to wait. Like I said, I know the comments are always a couple of minutes behind, so. She's looking up, but that's not the problem. That's fine. What else, guys? What else? Like I said, I'll give it a minute. More than slightly imbalanced, but tell me a little bit more detail what you mean by that. What do you mean by the slightly imbalanced? What do you mean? Be more detailed, guys. Glute. What about her glute? No, the hair's fine. The hair on her shoulders is fine. Back is fine. Left hip is higher, is closer to what I'm looking for. One glute is bigger. There we go. Okay. So First thing is that, yes, she is imbalanced as far as she's kind of pushing a little bit onto her left leg here. But no, her stance is not off. She is pushing a little to the left. So she does need to correct that. But look at the size of her glutes. Her left glute is significantly bigger than her right. Significantly bigger than her right. So do you guys know why this is? Again, I'll wait. Do you guys know why? Posing. Everybody's getting it. Posing on one side. When she poses in her front pose, she's posing on her right-hand side. When you do that, it crunches everything in your lower back, crunches up the nerves. It makes it more difficult to activate your glute on that side. Correct. She poses on that side. She poses on the right-hand side. That's right. Guys, this right here is why I am so adamant about posing on both sides. This right here. Okay. This is something that has been developing over time because she's been posing on that right-hand side for so long, right? You have to train both sides in posing. You have to. You have to. This is why. This is what happens. You become imbalanced. Okay? You become imbalanced. Okay? So, this is where I think this is going to be an issue going into the Olympia. Now, I don't know what exactly she can do to fix this between now and then. Maybe some body work, getting in there, really loosening up, getting in there and opening that side up as much as possible. I pushing a little bit more onto the right hand side when you're in your back pose versus the left. Not sure. Maybe if she comes down a little bit in her conditioning, maybe she comes down a little in her and pulls her conditioning in a little tighter. Maybe this won't be quite so evident. But to me, this is really evident, right? But I haven't seen anybody talking about it. So pose on both sides, you guys. Pose on both sides. Okay. So I'm not going to go into this a whole lot more because this is definitely her placing here at this show is definitely affecting what I'm going to say as far as my predictions for the Bikini Olympia going into Thursday. So just keep that in the back of your head. Are there things here that are fixable by the Olympia for her? 100%. Absolutely. She can definitely get much better. You know, look at what happened last year with Daraja. Daraja didn't even win the Battle of Texas. What was it, 2 weeks before the Olympia? And then she came in and placed fourth. So there are absolutely things that Phoebe can do going into the Olympia. This is not counting her out at all whatsoever. But we do have to take it into account as we go forward. We do have to take it into account as we go forward because we do only have 2 weeks left. Not even 2 weeks left, right? Okay. So that was pretty much the shock of the show, right? I think most of us assumed she would be either in the first place or second place position. And the fact that she wasn't, you know, it was a little bit shocking. So let's move on to fifth place, which was Nay. We know how to say her name now. She did change up her look here at this particular show with the teal turquoise colored suit. I think that I like the suit. I'm not sure if I like it better than the green or not. It could just be the lighting or something like that. This may be a little bit too light on her skin tone. I like it, but I'm just not sure if I like this better than the green or not. I liked her green look. I thought it was a little different. I just liked it. I feel like her body looks pretty good here. This, as far as her physique is concerned, is probably one of her better looks with the physique. Her posing's a little bit different than what she did when she won. Maybe they told her to adjust it a little bit. Her front pose, again, is going back to a little bit more of an X-frame pose versus the S that she had when she won. If I was her, I would probably go back to that S because that's what won her the show versus here. But that's also not, you can't really say that because she was up against tougher competition here, right? So 6 in one hand, half dozen in the other. I think this is better. I like she's got a little bit more coverage on this back. The reason why is because, again, she's a little shallow in her upper glute. So the fact that she's covering a little bit more up here is actually helping with this illusion back here for her back pose. So I do like that with her suit here. I think that's a helpful thing. Do I think this is better than her win? I'm not sure. Personally, I'm drawn to her front pose in this particular show versus the other one. But again, she won with the other one versus this one. So I don't know. I'm not really sure. I would say just go get your feedback from the judges, find out what they liked, what they didn't. There's no, again, going into this show, there's nothing wrong that you can do here because you're just collecting data specifically for her. She's brand new pro. You got to do some more shows and collect some data and figure out what they want from you. She tried a few new things. If they didn't like it, she can go back to what she did for her pro win. Again, I am more drawn to this particular front pose, but I'm more drawn to her overall package from when she won. So we'll see what she does going into the Olympia, but I don't think it was a bad thing to go into the show and just kind of try some new stuff before the Olympia. I think that was a good move. Next on the list is Tatiana. So she kept the same suit as what she had in Tampa. I'm guessing she didn't get feedback from Tampa. Or they didn't tell her something about the suit at Tampa. I would have said something about the suit. I'm not a fan of the suit at all. I think she has a beautiful look. I actually really like this hair look on her versus Tampa. The makeup's a little flat to me. Everything is a little flat. Like if you look at her, she's all one color, like her hair, her makeup, her suit, her tan, everything is the same color, right? We need something to pop and nothing's popping on her. I don't know what, we need to pop something, right? But other than that, she's just too lean and too hard. She's just over conditioned. She needs to get a little bit softer, fuller, rounder, that kind of thing. Beautiful frame. I like this front pose a lot. She's just too hard. She's just too hard in this shot. And again, she's a beautiful girl. She just needs to come in a little bit softer. Let's take a look at her back pose. Here we go. And again, if she was a little bit softer, I think that her glutes would pop a whole lot more. She's got some decent pop here, but you can see she's really tight through those hamstrings here. Beautiful hair look. I love this. It's very clean. But again, when you look at her, it's just all one color from top to bottom, right? Red. It's like orange, 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 right? Plus she's got the red backdrop there too in the pictures and stuff like that too. So that doesn't help either. So you need to have something that's going to pop. And there's just nothing here that's popping. And she, again, going back to, she just needs to be a little bit fuller and rounder, a little bit more body fat on her. She's just a little bit too conditioned. She should be winning a show if she can just get that conditioning right and get that overall look a little bit better. Next we have Noelle, which if I saw correctly, I think she's a master's athlete. I think she won the over 40, or maybe she didn't win no, she didn't win the over 40 here, but she has in other shows, I think, something like that, but she's over 40. Let's just put it that way. She's closed eyes right there. Beautiful look. I would say overall, this is pretty good, but she needs to be a little bit fuller. Again, she's a little bit too lean too. You look at her shoulders, she needs some more roundness in her shoulders. She's got a little bit of a wonky looking waistline. So that's probably why she came in this lean. That's probably why she came in this condition, because I'm assuming if she's not this lean, her waistline probably distends a little bit. We've always talked about this. Once you get over the age of 40, things start happening hormonally, and you got to be careful. And it's harder to come in full and round. You start looking out of shape. So, what I would do in her scenario, I like this whole look, but I would just try to get a little bit more fullness, specifically in the shoulders. So then she could come in a little bit fuller and rounder, and she would probably move up. Beautiful overall look though. Beautiful hair, beautiful makeup, beautiful suit color, all of those kinds of things. The suit fits her well here and everything too. It's just the conditioning is a little bit too much, which again starts happening once we get over the age of 40. Because you got to come in a little bit tighter. And this is where you see it, is in the back pose more than even the front pose. So here, you can see here, if she could come in a little bit fuller and rounder, add some more sides or her upper outer glutes here. What we see here is we see glutes, legs, like there's no separation other than it's a really tight hamstring tie-in, right? So she needs some more roundness up in her upper part of her glute. So then that way she can fill out a little bit more. So again, going back to, she needs some more upper outer glutes, she needs some more shoulders, and then she could be a little bit rounder, a little bit fuller. And I think that would be a better look. But overall, I mean, again, this is not a bad look at all. I think this is actually a really good look. And the other thing that some more upper outer glute will do is it'll make her waistline look a little bit smaller from the back too. From the back, she looks a little bit straight up and down, and that's because she's got a wider waistline from the back and she needs some more glutes. If she was to take a good off season and come back and be a little bit rounder and fuller, I think she could win a show. So that's my 2 cents on that. Then we have Ariana Brothers, who I thought looked great, but I thought she was a little bit soft. She carries a lot of size, and because she carries a lot of size, she needs to, because she's a tall girl, she needs to come in tight. Where I saw it, where I felt like she got exposed here, is in her waistline. I think that she could come in like a couple of pounds tighter, and that waistline will come in like I'm looking, what's the word I'm looking for? Tighter. It's hard to say, but like you can see it's a little bit rounded. Does that make sense? She's a little bit blocky. She's a little bit rounded. And that's just a matter of coming in, just sucking it down just a little bit more on that conditioning, just a touch, not a lot, just a touch. You still want that fullness. You still want that roundness. Especially being a tall girl, you need to have that muscle, you need to have that fullness. So that's all I would say, is I would say she just needs to come in a touch tighter, just a little bit tighter. And to me, when I was watching the videos and stuff from pre-judging, that's what I saw. I felt like her waistline, to me, was where she got exposed. She's got a really great back shot. This look here reminded me kind of what she did in Tampa, where she got exposed next to Ashlyn, who has a teeny tiny little waistline. She's got again, Ariana's got a great look, but if you're not super tight here, you're going to get exposed by these girls that have these teeny tiny little waists. So from the back, I think she's got a great look back here, but also still needs to be just a tad tighter here, just a little bit. And again, it's just a matter of pulling off another pound or two of water, and that's it, right? So I think she's just got a little bit too much here. And she pulls that off, and her waistline's going to come in a little bit tighter back here, right? We're going to see a little bit more pop in her shoulders up here. We're going to see a little bit more pop in the glutes if she's just a touch tighter. That's it. So that, to me, is really where she came in second to Jordan, was she just wasn't tight enough here. So then we have Jordan, who came in first, and we talked about this a lot on Behind the Bikini today, so I'm not going to go into it a whole lot, but I felt like she was the happy medium across the board. She didn't have too much muscle. She wasn't too hard, and she wasn't too soft. She was like the Three Little Bears or whatever, and she was just right. She's right down the middle. This was probably the tightest I've ever seen Jordan look, and the fullest. Her waistline, this is the tightest I've seen Jordan look. And again, I feel like this is where Ariana got exposed next to her, because Jordan's waistline was like this, was shrink wrapped, right? The fullness in her shoulders here for Jordan, this is the best I've seen her shoulders look. Fullness, roundness. And one thing she mentioned about her feedback was that the judges said they just couldn't stop looking at her. They just couldn't stop looking at her. She just had this presence. And again, I'm not going to go into this too much, because we did talk about this on Behind the Bikini. So you can watch the whole thing on Behind the Bikini, and it's a little bit more in depth about her feedback and things like that. But yeah, this was nailed. She nailed this look, even after having a really tough week. And then the back shot. A lot of people always wonder about how the difference between like a back shot with her and a back shot with Ariana, right? So Ariana has really great genetic, like hamstring tie-ins, things like that. But what Jordan has from the back, she has that density and that pop and that 3D roundness to her glutes. It's hard to see that in photos. It's hard to see what the judges are looking at in person when you're looking at a photo. But when you look at Jordan's glutes when she's in person, they just sit up so high and full and round. Rihanna's the same way. They have that pop to those glutes, that density to those glutes that doesn't go anywhere. So when she walks, it stays up nice and round, all those kinds of things. So this is where when she's tight and she's full, this is where she wins, right? Just that roundness, that 3D that comes at you, that density. Okay. So yes, I had her winning at prejudging. I know it was very, very close. But yeah, this was her win. So that's awesome. She is now qualified for the 2024 Olympia. And that's a great thing to have going into the Olympia too, as far as having momentum and things like that. So the last thing I wanted to show you guys on this particular show was the comparison shots here, because I think this will kind of solidify what we were talking about when it comes to Phoebe and her conditioning and what she needs to do going into the Olympia. So the one thing about this show that was helpful as far as conditioning is concerned is when they started first call out, Ariana and Phoebe were right next to each other, right? So you can see here the difference in conditioning, right? Look at Ariana's waistline from the back. Look at Phoebe's waistline from the back. You can actually see little skin folds here on Phoebe, right? We can see how like Phoebe just has an extra layer of, body fat or water, inflammation, whatever it is on top of her versus Ariana. And as you know, we were saying Ariana was a little bit too soft. So that means that Phoebe is even softer, right? And then you see Ariana next to Jordan. You see how much tighter Jordan is than Ariana. So you can see real clearly across here what we're looking at as far as what we're looking for conditioning, right? So let's flip through this a little bit. Get to a front shot. Okay. So as we look to the front shots, again, look at the waistlines, right? So again, this is where I think Ariana gets exposed. Notice Ariana's waistline is thicker. Okay. And even with this, even though we were saying, whoops, I just got to pull that back up. Hold on. Even though we were saying that Phoebe's conditioning needs to come in, Phoebe's waistline is still tighter than Ariana's waistline, right? And then you look at it here, and Jordan is teeny tiny in comparison to both of them. Okay, so this is where this is what the judges see when they're next to each other. Now look at their legs too. Look at the conditioning here in Jordan. Look at the conditioning in Ariana, and look at the conditioning in Phoebe, right? And then over here, Tatiana. Look how hard Tatiana is. Look at those lines going into her glutes, everything like that too. I mean, it's just too much with Tatiana, right? It makes it very, very obvious when they're next to each other. When they're next to each other, you can see it real clearly. It's harder when you're looking at them in their individuals, but when you're looking at them in comparisons, it's really clear, right? You guys see that? See what I'm talking about with these guys? I'm going to flip through a little bit. So now they've moved Phoebe out to outside of Ariana, and you can see again. Now look at the waistlines. Look at the waistlines, right? That's what we're looking at here. Look at the conditioning. Look at the difference in the conditioning. If you can't see this real well on your screens, on your monitors at home, go look on NPC News Online. It'll be very, very clear to you once you start clicking through and looking at how they are conditioned, right? And I'm going to just kind of flip through a little bit as they move the girls. And as I'm clicking through, guys, if you have any questions, type in. Let me know what the questions are, okay? If you have any questions. So also what I want you to look at too is what I mentioned about Phoebe's top. I'm not a huge fan of her top. Like to me, it stands out not in a good way in this whole top 6, right? She's just not full enough up top. Get a bigger suit top and stuff it or something, right? If she just stuffed it up a little bit, I think that would make a big difference here. Any questions, you guys? But like I said, look at the legs and the conditioning. Look at the waistlines and the conditioning. That's where you're going to see this. This is where you see people get bumped up and pushed down, right? I'm going to leave it open for a minute, see if anybody has any questions. But this really kind of shows you, exactly why the placings went the way that they did. Any questions, you guys? So in general, across the board, I thought the placings were correct. And as I said before, this is not a bad thing for anyone in this particular show. Going into a show a couple of weeks out from the Olympia, even if you screw it up, you collect data. We mentioned this prior to this show coming out, when we were doing the preview going into the weekend, and we were doing Behind Bikini and all that kind of stuff. It's never a loss when you're going into the Olympia, because now you can change things. Imagine if, Phoebe thought this was the kind of package she needed to bring to the Olympia in order to do better, and she just showed up at the Olympia like this. It would have been a bad thing. Now she has the ability to fix it. Now she has the ability to take her feedback and say, okay, I can change this and I can make this better, right? So now she's got a couple of weeks to really hammer whatever she needs to do in order to get her conditioning to come in, and she's good to go, right? Any questions, you guys? I'll leave it open for like a minute or so, and then we'll exit out. And as we're waiting, see if any questions come in. Like I said, tomorrow night we'll come on live at 8:15 and preview the Wellness Olympia. I'll give you my picks, how I think it's going to go. And I want you guys to come on and give me your 2 cents as well. If there's anybody that I miss, go ahead and put in your 2 cents as far as who I should be looking at, paying attention to. When we're at the Olympia, I will be on my Spotify. Okay. I will be doing live commentary from prejudging. So if you're not on my Spotify, let me pull up that too, so you can get there. There's the Spotify. Okay. So this is the QR code right here for Spotify. Okay. When we put the Behind the Bikini out, that's going to come out tomorrow. Then you'll be able to get a better idea of some of the Olympia experience. We talk about things you should know as a fan, things you should know when you go. So it'll give you a little bit of an insight on that if you've never been to the Olympia. So check that out tomorrow when that releases. It'll probably be sometime in the afternoon once it actually gets processed and all that kind of fun stuff. I'm glad this was helpful. It's almost makes it more fun going into these Olympia previews. Like, I know a lot of people have done them already, have put their top 10 picks out and things like that already. I wanted to wait for this reason, because I knew these last couple of shows were going to be good indicators of what's going to happen to come. So I think that it's going to make this Olympia very, very interesting. Very, very interesting going forward, right? All right, guys. So with that, set your alarms, because we'll be on tomorrow night live for wellness predictions. Okay. And then Thursday, same time, same place, we will do the same thing for Bikini. All right. I hope you guys have had a great week so far. I know it's only Tuesday. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like Thursday. I don't even know. I don't know what day of the week it is anymore. Olympia's coming up fast, you guys. Olympia's coming up fast. Go to my Spotify if you're not on there already. Make sure that you're ready for that for next week. If you want to come and work with me, here's my Cutie Boutique. You can go to the Cutie Boutique and you can get on my list for hair and makeup. You can get on there for activewear if you need, loungewear if you need, suits if you need makeup, but whatever you need. We got it all right there. Posing, all of it. All of it's right there. Have a great night, you guys. Again, back here, 8:15 Eastern Standard Time tomorrow night, and we will preview Wellness Olympia.